Hello, everybody. It's Mr. Trochet with another video lesson. 7.18, how does it change over time? And so I like to do simple interest. By the way, simple interest is nice because you can actually gain some extra money if you are a part of the receiving end of simple interest. But actually, fun fact and a little note, the best interest is compound interest. So if you want to know what compound interest is, why don't you Google it and see how you can actually get some interest this way. But besides that, going to go ahead, go back to math 7.18. Going to make this real quick. Interest is basically a fee for letting the borrower use the money. So like banks are a big one. They give you interest. They will charge you interest, but sometimes they give you interest for savings, like savings accounts and stuff like that. But there's other options. Not going to get into that right now. However, for example, a bank might charge someone 8% yearly interest for borrowing $500. So when you need money, you go to a bank, which I don't recommend you do, but you can go to a bank and they can give you some money, but they're going to charge you a little extra on top. All right. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and go over some interest. The first thing, simple interest right here, is where simple interest is something that it happens fixed. It's a fixed rate that happens over time. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but let's go ahead and look at this definition right here. There we go. Interest paid only on the principal alone, which means, as I will show you right now, what that means. All right, 786. We have a renting the hall. The student council is planning a spring celebration. That's great. They will need to pay a deposit in advance. Since they have not started selling tickets, they asked a loan from the Parent-Teacher Association of $825. They said they will let you do that, but they would charge a 2% simple interest each week. All right, so what does that really mean? Well, Ms. Becker, the student council advisor, explained to the students that it's a loan of $825 is your principal amount. So basically, our principal is $825, right? And we have 2%, which is the weekly rate of what we have to do, and that's every single week. So basically, our principal is $825, and then our interest. So our interest, I can't spell interest right. Interest is going to be 2%, which is 0.02. So we need to figure out what is that going to be. Well, I'm going to go ahead and for A, how much money in interest will they charge each week? 2% times 825, that is going to be, let me get a calculator out real quick. I don't want to do this. Actually, I can figure it out in my head. There's $8.25 plus another $8.25. I have shortcuts. That's going to be $16.50 because 1% of 825 is 8.25. Little trick there. So that's going to be $16.50 for the interest. And how you do that? Well, you can do 825 times 0.02 and do that way as well. If the student council borrows $825, how much will it owe after 1 week? All right, so after 1 week, right? After 1 week, how much do we owe the PTA? So let's go ahead and figure this out. So we know that it's going to be $825, right? And if we paid it back in 0 weeks, so that means we got it and we like gave them back the money in like 7 days or less, then we just be $825. But we have to add $16.50 for the first week, right? And that is going to equal 50, because this is 0. So that lines up here. So 16 and, well, it's not really lined up, but this is how it should be lined up, which is not really lined up. So the 5 and the 6 is a 1, and with the 2 carried over the 5 and the 6 is a 1. Let me just go ahead and start this over because now I just confused everyone. I apologize. So $825 for 0 weeks. If it was 1 week, we got to add $16.50. And that is going to be $841.50. But let's say we did 3 weeks. So if it's 3 weeks, then you have to do, move this over here, plus another $16.50, which is 2 weeks. And then that's going to equal 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 858 plus another 16.5 for 3 weeks. And this is just one way to do it. There's other ways you can do it, obviously. So that's 5, and then we have 8. That's going to be 4, 1, 5, 6, 74, $874 for 3 weeks. And I'm just adding 16.5, 16.5, 16.5 every single week, which makes it really easy. That's why it's called simple interest, because it's very simple. So that's where you're going to do your calculations here. That's going to be week 3. All right. How much would the student council owe 2 months, which is 8 weeks from now? So here's another way that we can do this. What I would do is I would create an equation. So I know that the first one is going to be 825. That's my initial principal, right? This is my principal. The principal amount is 825. Then I'm going to add my interest. And my interest is going to be 0.02. However, how many weeks is that going to be? Well, weeks, oops, I want red. Weeks is going to be how many? 8 weeks. So what I can do is I can do 8 times, well, this 2%, actually, this is not 2%. The interest is $16.50. So that's my mistake because I did it 2% earlier. So I want to make sure I write that down. So it's 8 times 16.5 plus the original principal. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We have 16.50 times 8, 0, 40, 8 times 5 is 40, 48, 49, 51, 52, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It should be 2 decimals, 132. So we're going to go ahead and put 132 plus 825. So again, this right here is how much I would pay on top of the 835. So it should be $957. Is that correct? I think that's correct. Let me just double check my math and pause real quick. All right, and that is correct. That answer is 957 for 8 weeks, which is 2 months. So I mean, that's 120. Looks $132. Not too bad for 8 weeks. That's pretty good. All right, we're going to go on to the next one. So let's go down to and 787. So 787, student council member realized that they would also need funds before the event to pay the DJ and the photographer a deposit. So they need a second loan of $1,000. They just have so many loans. They need all this money, but the PTA is going to charge them 2% again. So they're very nice. They're not going to go higher. They're going to do 2%. It's totally fine. How much will be added to this loan each week? So if I have $1,000 and I have it by 0.2, I should know that that is going to be, well, here is $10 is 1%. So $10 equals 1%. So then that's going to be $20 equals 2%. All right. $20 per week. Because, well, 1,000 times 0.02 is going to be 10. And you can do the math as well to show your work. B, the PTA has decided that cover a cost. It will only need $18 interest each week. Decided that to cover its costs, it only needs $18 interest each week. What percent weekly interest should the PTA charge for the student council for this loan? Well, if they only need, here's the thing. If I have $20 equals 2%, what is going to be 1.8%? Well, $18. Oops, that's what I meant to say. $18 is going to equal what? Well, that's if this is the same thing. If this 2 right here is the decimal, like let's say right there, then that means the decimal is going to go right there. So that's $18. So let me go ahead and try that one more time. If I'm going to earn $18 interest each week, how would I do that? So you can do this. So $1,000 times my interest, and I'm just going to put I right there for interest, and that's going to give me 18. That's like the mathematical equation way to do this. So what do I do to figure out what my weekly interest should be? Well, you divide by 1,000 on both sides. That's going to go ahead and make it a 1. So I equals, and then you have to do 18 divided by 1,000, which is quite a bit. So then doesn't go in one time, doesn't go into 18, doesn't go into 180, it goes into 1,800 one time. And then we add the 8. So my interest equals 0.0.018. What is that as a percentage? Well, I know percents if I'm going to go over here, 1, 2, because you multiply by 100 because it's percent. And that is going to be 1.8% interest. All right, and that's the mathematical way. And there's multiple ways that you can do this. You can do, like I did, you can do the $20 is 2%. So then 1.8% is just going to be pretty much a couple dollars less. So it's going to be 18. And you can also do that. All right, let's go to the next one. 7-88. A loan agreement between the student council has finally been reached, but the PTA will not loan. They will not let us get the DJ? Will not loan us $1,825 requested. To make sure everyone understands the agreement, the PTA created the table below. So what is happening here? Let's go ahead and move this up. So they made this table. I'm going to put this right over here for now. Based on the table, how much will the student council borrow? All right, based on the table, it's 0 weeks. Look at that. Oh, I love when I'm ahead of the book here. All right, so we have 0 is $1,250, right? That is going to be the principal. Is $1,250. Okay, so that is your total loan amount. And then next is, what is the percent interest? Well, how do we get this? What is $18.75? What is that? And we got to make sure we understand how we get that interest. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Where's my mouse? Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the principal is here. What is our interest? So how do we know what the interest is? Well, we know our interest is $18.75. So I'm going to make this I. You can make it X if you want. This times our interest rate, which we don't know. This is our interest, is going to equal $18.75. So now all we have to do is divide by 1250 on both sides. Oops, there we go. And let's go ahead and match that up. So we have so 18.75 divided by 1250, but we get to move the decimal over. Well, we don't have to move the decimal over, actually. I apologize. We don't have to make that mistake. Let's go ahead. This will go in 0, 0, 0, 1 time. So 1250, make this red, 1250. And that is going to be 5, a 2, 8, 7, 6. So 625, bring down the 0. That'll go in 5 times. 5, 5, 10, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that'll be it. So let's try 5. And so, yeah, so 5 times. So 5 is 0. That's a 25, 2, 5, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's it. 5, carry the 1, 6. So this right here is our decimal, and our decimal is 0.015. What is that as a percent? Well, we're going to go ahead and move this over twice. So that's going to be 1.5%. All All right, we got to make sure you move the decimal over because we are getting this. This is decimal, right? So this is all in decimal form. So we want to move the decimal over in order to get what our percentage is. Now our decimal, we can use this to plug in here, or we can use that to plug in there. Both are the same, but just know which one you're using. If you put on the test that the interest is 0.015%, then you will be incorrect. All right, so that's it for A. So make sure you get that down. And then now we have how much will the student council owe after 3 weeks? So we got to figure out this table after 3 weeks. You should copy this table down, by the way, if you haven't done that. Copy table down. And then so after 3 weeks, well, we're going to do 1250 plus 18.75 plus 18.75 plus 18.75. And that is going to be our thing. And then we have to do it after 14 weeks. So 1250 plus 18.75 plus 18.75. Yes, it's very repetitive, but I'm doing it too. So we're doing this together. And then we got to show our calculations. All right. So you're just going to add them all up. Now, I'm not too worried about if you do this or not, but I'm going to go ahead and type this into my calculator because I am kind of tired and I want to get this going. So we have this one is going to be 1306.25 and then add another 18.75. This one's going to be 1325. All right, and that's it. Let's see, let me go ahead and put this down just a little. I'll just keep it there. All right, so how is the amount of money that the student council owes changing each week? Oops, I erased it, sorry. How is it changing each week? It's actually not really changing, it's just increasing by 18.75. So it is changing, but it's like the interest isn't changing. The interest stays the same. That's what I meant to say. Show how this change can be found in your table. It's being added each week. It's the amount added each week. So here is, there it is. Here is 1 week. There's 2 here for 2 weeks. Then we added 3 1870s for 3 weeks. So every week is the same amount. All right, and let's see, for D, the student council president wants to be able to check quickly how much the student council owes at any point. Use the table to write a variable expression that shows the amount of money the club owes after how many weeks. So like X number of weeks. Make sure to define your variable. Okay, so this is really good. So we want to basically write down this problem as we see it. So we know that we have $1,250. Okay, that's our principal. That's our original. All right. Then we add. What do we add? Well, we add 1875. That's our interest. And our interest is 1875, but that's also being multiplied by, I'm going to put W for fun, and that's going to be the weeks. Because if I had 2, so let's say W equals 2, then it should be 1875 times 2, and that's what it would be. So that is going to be your equation or your expression for this. So that is going to be your expression. Is there another way you can write this? Yeah, there is actually. If you wanted to do it by decimal or something like that, or percentage, you could do that as well. But I would say make sure to define your variable. W equals number of weeks. Always define your variable. All right, and I labeled it here. So technically I did define it. I just didn't put it in the sentence. All right, moving on to the last one. We have E. The president figured out if the student doesn't pay off the loan by the end of the school year, it would owe $1,500. How many weeks of school are left? Okay, so now let's go ahead and back to our problem. We have 1,250, right? And then we add 18.75, And then I'm going to put W here. All right. And what does that equal? Well, what does that equal? That equals how much money we would owe a total. Like this is our total, right? This is our totals that we all add up. So our total is going to be 1,500. So how many weeks are left in school? All you have to do is do a simple solving. 1250 minus 1250. Again, these are just puzzles that you have to continue to practice over and over again. Understanding your equation, understanding your variables. What does your variable mean? What does your expression and equations mean? So that comes out. So we have 18.75 W equals, that's going to be 250. So I just got to figure out 1875 divided by 250, or 250 divided by 1875. So 250, 18.75, this is where we move the decimal. This is where we move the decimal. So now my decimal is here. So 1875, that goes in one time. So I'll use pink. It goes in one time. And so that's 1875. And that is going to be a 5. That's a 4 and a 9. That's a 2, 24, 23, 22, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 6. I had to count it out. Sometimes that happens. And then bring this down for a 0. What is 18 into, what is that going to be? Oh, don't you hate when this happens? 3 times? 8, 16, 24, 3, 4, 5. Probably let's try 3 times. So 5, 10, 15. Carry the 1. 3 and the 7 is 21, 22. Oh boy, I hope this is good. 8 times 3 is 24, 25, 26. And then 3 times 1 and 5. I think that's good. Yeah. So then that's 5. That's going to be a 4. That's a 2. 62 and 56. That should be a 6. So 6250 again. Again? If it's again, then that's going to be repeating. So that's going to be 13 and 3. So that's 13 and 0.3 repeating, which is 13 and 1/3 weeks. So basically there's 13 weeks left because the first week is week 0. So you don't pay anything for those first few days. So it's probably just going to be 13 weeks. But to be honest, the actual answer for this problem is going to be 13.3, so it can equal 1,500. I would say just in general, if you said 13 weeks, fully answer your question, that would be fine too. But just know 13 and 1/3 is going to be your week. So, all right, that is going to be it. That's all you're going to be doing for today. I'm sorry it took so long, but anyways, that is the lesson. Your homework is in the altitude card, and I hope you have a great and wonderful day. I will see you all then. Bye-bye.